And we are live. Welcome,
live.
guys. Welcome again to another Sunday.
Yes.
And we have. I wish Eugene we came up with a different name to mark you, but I think the Mr. Average Saving has stuck on
Yes.
really tight.
Yeah. The average savings now doesn't make much sense for the Japanese cars lah.
Yes,
It's
indeed.
actually it's actually the other way around, you know.
Correct.
How much
much
you can make from the car.
No, but I guess the whole concept of the average saving, Eugene, if I get this right, is like instead of saying how much you would lose, is how much you would save because of the higher depreciation, isn't it? That's the whole concept behind.
It's from the perspective of the buyer.
It's more.
It's actually saving money.
It's like opportunity cost, lah, basically.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's a good prelude to our show today because hey guys for joining us. We got comments coming in. Kanison, as usual. Hi Kanison, thank you so much for joining us every week, every show. You are true champion, boss. Thank you so much. Yes. And I guess leading on to the show is that the whole concept of JDM and Japanese cars and Conti cars. Like, at one point when I grew up, the Japanese cars was the only cars I can think about. I cannot think about Conti cars. This was the attainable cars, but today the tables have turned. Tables have turned.
Yes, very much so.
Now the Contis are the affordable ones.
Exactly. In some cases, they are. Unless you are a proud owner of a Lexus and your name is HP, it might be different, But other than
right. Yeah, Thana, what was your last Japanese car, Thana?
My first, in fact, before we go, let's do our intro, and then we'll start the show.
Yeah, I forgot about the intro.
Hey guys, welcome back. So on the cars, first cars, my very first car, Eugene, this was the funny fact. My very first car was a Mitsubishi Galant Super Touring 2.0. It was 1988, 87. I'm not sure. I forgot the year now. I'm so bad. But the story, no, 1982. Sorry, 1982. 1982 Mitsubishi Galant Super Touring. And the funny story was the car was owned by Korn's neighbor.
No way. His current neighbor now?
No, his neighbor when he was young, growing up. So the story was that before I knew Korn, I knew someone who knows Korn, and they were neighbors, and I bought that car. So Korn always saw this car growing up, and I bought that car, my first ever car, and it was a Galant. It was way big. I'm not sure if you know the car. It looks like a Saga, but it's super huge, super big. I could sleep flat on the back seat and it was comfortable. That's how big it was. And I was a small body. I mean, I'm a small body person, and people make fun of me because I'm a small person driving a big car. But it was fantastic. And my reason for buying a Japanese car was they were much simpler. They were much thought through. It's like if you had an option of A and B, like an addition tree of making a car, they'll say like, if I do this, the car can be more better, can be more powerful. But what about reliability? And think about this. What about? And they thought about it, and they always went for reliability versus power. In most cases, and that's what I love Japanese cars for. And obviously I think Japanese cars also the fact that what they can do from factory is much more than what they advertise, because the engines are so robust and the platform is so good that most of it's like big cc or big power cars where they say it's one power. You can go to people like Eugene and get parts and slap on, and then you can do all these performance mods. So it's just, I guess, it's a dreamland for guys like us, young guys, to bring up Japanese cars, JDM,
Yes.
Basically, in a nutshell, it's just like pursuing reliability over pushing out technology.
Correct.
Reliable, it will run for 10 years or 20 years without issue.
Correct.
And so it's not so much about getting the best of the gears out
Correct.
stuff into the car. It's just about making your drive safe, reliable, and it will not break down.
Correct.
Yep.
And also, I guess if you think about warning lights, the funny story was people make fun of the Conti cars. If a BMW has no warning lights, something is wrong.
Yep.
Because true lights comes as a package.
Christmas lights.
Correct.
The Christmas lights.
Where else a Japanese car, even something is going wrong, it won't tell you something is going wrong. It'll keep on going until you come to a point like, oh, you know what? Why is that sound I'm hearing? Something must be wrong. And then you find something out about the car.
Yes.
So,
When I came back to Malaysia, my first car was a Toyota, and it was a Corolla LE, and every day I was hammering the car, just put petrol and just hammer the car.
You just
put
go on
petrol,
forever.
hammer the car. Yeah, just go on forever.
I had the Gallon, and it was a carburetor engine, and it had the distribution coil. The coil was there, and I was messing on the car, and I figured that if I turn the different coil, it's a bit here, a bit there, the timing will change. I was like, this is magic. Why this happened? So I used to play with the car to see what happened. So I think for someone to get into cars, I mean, even today, although you can obviously mod or repair your own VW or Golf or whatever car it is, it's just so much easier to work on Japanese cars.
Correct. Yes.
I mean, have you ever, except for Myvis, I don't care what people say. Eu Jin, have you seen the engine bay of a Myvi and how difficult it is to change a belt? It is freaking hard. I don't know how they do it.
There's no space in it.
It's just like a Mitsubishi GTO engine or a 300ZX engine.
Oh my!
You drop a screw, it will not fall down underneath. It get lost in.
You know how cars, good cars have got that tensioner. Well, you pull the tensioner and then you can relieve the belts and change it. On maybe there isn't one. You got to find a way to move the bolts and somehow squeeze it in, and it's there. It's a nightmare, I tell you. But yeah, I think I always felt that Japanese cars were easier to work on. It's just easier for everybody to work on.
I mean, just like Kanchil, you want to change clutch, you drop the whole engine. You're gonna drop the whole engine to get to the clutch.
Thankfully, the engine is small.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, K cars. I think all the K cars engineering is amazing. I mean, I really respect and admire the K cars. I mean, I know a bit about K cars. I mean, can you just tell us, Eu Jin, about the K car? I know that it's supposed to be some sort of regulation in China, in Japan, isn't it? How does the K car thing?
Basically, K cars is a category of cars in Japan where it's limited to dimensions and also engine capacity. So if manufacturers produce cars that are within these guidelines, they get preferential tax. So the cars are cheaper.
Oh.
Yes. And also being, roads and in big cities in Japan are quite small. So it helps. So you get funny quirky cars like K convertible or K saloon or K hatchback or K pickup. K sports cars is just weird and quirky.
I've seen the K pickups, which are pretty amazing. That blew me away. The fact they have a 4-wheel drive system in a K pickup and they do work, vegetables and it's really amazing.
And it makes sense over there. It might not make sense in bigger continents.
Correct.
I think cars like the Honda Beats and all that.
And that's where the engineering is pretty amazing. I think Mike, it's like you think about. I mean, like I'll give you a comparison. Let's say look at Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo makes cars. The engine and the body, it's one-off. They're very rare, or they kind of share. You see, they have the car they mention the car. They find the engine for the car, or the car design. This is one-off thing. And same with Japanese cars, these kind of K cars, it's purpose built. They're very purpose built, and I think a lot more engineering goes into designing those than kind of generic cars where you got a Passat which has got 1.8, 2.0. It can be diesel, it can be this, can be that. You can put whatever you want to in that thing. So yeah, it's pretty badass, like last meal.
It's kind of amazing also because the engineers are tight. Their arms are tight. Basically, you have to build a car within this dimension. It's not a free hand. I want to build a small car and I can build it to all dimensions I want. You can't.
Correct.
The box there for you. You just got to fit whatever you want into that box.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and similarly, I think the whole engine placement of these cars, I see a lot of the like Mitsubishi's, the 4G 91 began there and all the way. A lot of shared platform, shared from the alternator to very shared, and even with all the other Toyotas and stuff, of all the I guess like you got the Lancer, we got the basic model, and you got the high-end model. What kind of that kind of genre do you think attracts you the most? So you've got the Lancers, you've got the, I guess, the Subarus, you've got your town car and all that. Of all those cars, which one actually you like the most?
What do I like the most? As in
take a base car model and you gotta work your way towards the halo car,
Okay. I think there's none other car that is in that category of what you have just described than the Lancer.
Yeah.
Because it is the Econo box when it came out. It only got popular when Mitsubishi put in the Galant VR4 engine and drivetrain into the Lancer for the purpose of rallying, because they wanted a lighter chassis. And that's how the Lancer Evolution was born. It's just because of that. It's an Econo box with a bigger engine and a 4-wheel drive transmission. And from there, it just progressed 10 generations already right now. So that is, if you ask me that question, that will be it. And
that'll be
not just in Japan, even in Malaysia, everybody have a Proton Vira who want to aspire.
Correct.
No escape.
I hear, I follow MCM Mighty Car Mods in Australia, and they always say, like, whenever we talk about the Kanchil or the Vira equivalent, they was like, thanks to people in Malaysia, engines over here are super expensive, So they always curse us the fact because we drive the prices up in the world market. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. We got Kuhan here. It says there's benefit or cons in one let, which summarizes the problem with OBD. Yeah, I mean, this is, I guess, a ownership experience, right? Like I find that when I first got into my Audi, it was a very stressful period because I was like always scared about why is this like, why is there this, why I get a warning for my rear tail light being burned? Will it burn something else? I was so nervous.
Say law.
I was a wreck. I tell you, it was the worst car to get. Sorry to say, the Audis are the worst car to get as a first car. Do not buy Audi as a first car, But because it was so stressful, it was so worrying, So I don't know about warning lights, but it was so worrying. After the first year, I knew about the car. I got my sensors and scanners a bit more there, but it's not easy, What has been your worst experience with, I guess, indicators in your car? Any nightmares that you seen or didn't see in your car?
Actually, for cars that I've owned, it's not as thorough as Continentals. The warning light is just a check engine light, and then you can figure out what it is later on. It doesn't tell you what exactly is wrong. So
not too bad, lah.
Not too bad, and the good part is, in the rare occasion that I get a check light, it is no big deal, lah. It is either maybe your O2 sensor is O2. It's just small matters, lah. Nothing that will entail having the car in the workshop for a couple of days, that kind of stuff, or you don't have to tow your car from wherever you rented in.
It is so beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, the VX are reliable, lah. In comparison to Vanos, So that's the what Japanese car is all about, lah. Even the VTEC is so reliable.
I guess my early experience with those computerized check engine lights was in BMW 5 Series, the E34, and the computer will turn German sometimes from English. And the funny thing is, I mean, it's useful, but it's just like your light bulb on your number plate is blown, and you tell you your bulb is blown. Oh, okay. It's I don't know, maybe it's information overload lah. But when it turns to German lettering, I have no idea what it says.
Yes.
Funny story was
every time you start the car, the digital readout comes out.
The thing is, sometimes it's in English, sometimes it goes to German. So There's something wrong with the car.
Yeah.
Right, what is story?
Early days of coding.
I had a Hyundai once, a Hyundai, and for almost half the years of ownership, there's always a check engine light on the car, and I was like, it's okay, it's only a check engine light. It's
Don't
fine.
bother. As long as it starts and it still goes.
It's fine.
Correct.
It's fine. I dare Conti car owners to drive in peace with a check engine light.
Or last time our airport taxis, they used to put a sticker there. lah.
Really?
All the Mercedes taxi, they put a sticker there. The airport taxis, the check engine light is on.
Oh my god.
Just carry on driving. Yeah.
Okay, Jin,
Yes.
obviously now the JDM cars prices are crazy, some of them are crazy to the point. Like I give you a story. My brother-in-law had a GTO, the non-turbo, and he modified it to look like a Ferrari. I'll find the picture and I'll WhatsApp you, personally. But because and that car now I think is someone else owning the car, so I don't want to show the picture, so I'll share it to you. And it was crazy because people thought, it's only a GTO, screw it, modify it. Now that costs more than the GTO that he was trying to modify with. So it's crazy. Prices are really, really crazy. And I guess, is it the issue with scarcity is the issue, or is it the issue because of just people want it?
Well, not all Japanese cars or not all Japanese cars increase in price. In my opinion, why is it increasing is probably it's nostalgia. You are at this point of life where you are capable or you are able or you have free cash to buy your dream car that you wish when you were little.
Yep.
It just so happens that right now we are at this age that we can afford it, and everybody is going after these cars for that. Yeah, it could be a lot of factors. It could be influenced by video games. It could be influenced by movies, by animes, but for me, the main issue why they are in demand right now is just pure and simple because they don't make them like they used to lah.
Yes, correct. We won't go back and make one back then.
Yeah, that was the point I wanted to get to as well.
You can't get anything like that anymore. I think the closest car you can get today, brand new, which harks back to those era, is probably the newly launched Nissan 400Z. That to me is probably the only car that can relate back to the 90s era.
Yeah. So which era you think Japanese car actually picked with their technology,
I think we start to see technology coming out in the mid 80s and it in the 90s. By the end of 90s, you get all the flashy cars out already, which is now the legendary classic Japanese sports car.
Yes.
Tons of money.
I got this theory, Jin, because I don't know why. I almost bet you any car made in 97, for some reason, I don't know why, I just pick it randomly here, are cool. I don't know. It's like the cars that were pre-2000, before 2000 came through, and they came out, are way, way cool. Because I mean, you can guess my age now. I finished my SPM, and after a couple of years after SPM, and the cars coming out at the time was all because they were so, I guess, kiasu, it's going to be year 2000. So they're trying to push the boundaries so much to make it different, From the Porsche came with the 986, you've got BMW with their E46 that came out, So a lot of cars came out in the era, trying to push the boundary, and it was fantastic, So I think that is very interesting period, 97.
In the 90s, it's also where economy is doing very well. Manufacturers are trying to produce cars that would
different now.
One up the other party. If you come up with something, or come with something better than you, and that is why they got no limits in R&D. They dump a lot of money to R&D.
A lot of money, man.
Great cars.
Crazy.
Yes.
Got a comment here from Kuha, and let's read this. When I got my first Conti, I had drive-in error. I was so worried I went to BMW SC. They opened bill for RM11K to replace the whole turbo, but luckily I had a second opinion from BMW Malaysia Club Facebook group. I think that's the other one. When I got my first Conti, I noticed that the level of expertise of mechanics in Malaysia are not up to speed to where they are in Europe and other parts of the world. So if you have a particular model of Continental car, you have to go to the specialist and get good opinion. Pay extra, doesn't matter. you better get it correct for the first time out and you're done. Opposed to Japanese cars, more likely to find a mechanic which knows Japanese engines because they're very similar in nature, and that's why Japanese cars are fantastic, more for that you can fix yourself. Zafri here says, like the R34 GTR, which sold for 2 million a few months ago. Seriously,
it was listed for 2 million, but it was not sold for 2 million.
Okay.
But the highest highest R34 GTR that was sold in Malaysia that I personally know of is 750,000.
How much? 70.
Wow. Yeah.
Matters.
Just the highest transacted value.
And then Zafri makes a comment. What happened to the JDM agreement not to make cars more than 280 horsepower?
It is.
Was there? Yeah.
They make less than 280 horsepower on paper, but actually it's not.
Yes. Published lah. We call it the published figures. Yeah.
Polo says, I've never owned cars other than Japanese cars. Still apprehensive about German cars. Japanese still my best preference. Yep. I think, yeah, I mean, to me, it's more of, I like to try cars. I like to try each car and go through the phase. But as what Ian said, I think they don't make them like they used to. Like at the point in time, they were pushing the boundaries of safety, let's just risk it more and do cars that are light, like they'll never make another MR2, for example, or that kind of body, that kind of shape, heaviness, the weight and stuff, never again, Today, crash test racing, they will fail. So I think that was part of it, like the fact they can do it then. You can't do it now. As simple as
all these are due to the rules and regulations, the Euro standards, American standards, Japanese standards. Everything has changed so much.
These manufacturers, Japanese manufacturers, they are all like the rest of the guys in other countries. Japanese manufacturers are looking at fuel efficiency, environmentally friendly. So you don't get cars like this because they are not fuel efficient. They are not environmentally friendly. So you don't get cars with small CC and a turbo like a GR Yaris or small CC but big output like a 1.5 liter ND Miata. So you're not going to get something like a 400Z anymore. Which is manual, high CC.
Right. And I think people nowadays, it's they buy cars to flex on paper, then more to actually use the entire bandwidth of the car. Like you may have a car that's 400 horsepower, but guys, are you really going to use that 400 horsepower? You're not, And in fact, 200 horsepower in a lighter body is more sufficient. But because the people want more and more and more, they are doing more and more, and for that they must give more safety. So it's like always, no matter how powerful car you make it, can make it more safer. So you lose that aspect of it. So you can't actually blame the manufacturers. They're just trying to respond to the market conditions,
I think the 400Z is like harking back to the earlier times, where it's more simple, and basic, with 2 turbos, and also manual, and not bogged down by other safety gear and all that,
You can see the shape is the 240Z shape.
Yep.
The tail lights are from the 300ZX. So there's connection.
Yes, there's like connection, to the earlier cars.
What do you like the design though?
I actually love it.
You love it,
I actually love it. Compared to the latest offering from the rest, like 86 or the Supra, I think the 400Z it beats everybody.
I mean, I guess in terms of being genuine, being genuine, I think the 400Z is the most genuine car of the lot. 1 second. Sorry about that. The more it's more genuine design. It looks as if they thought about it, they designed it. And the Supra, I think it's like they should have done their own. But it's definitely different.
That's the 400Z there.
But if you had to pick a modern sports car, what would it be?
A modern sports car in what era? Currently available in the market.
currently below market, if you had to pick, let's say, a modern Japanese sports car, what would be your pick?
Well, definitely the 400Z, without a thought.
Really, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nissan guy end to end.
Price will be quite significant
Yes.
though.
Quite significant.
I think that's the only one that that attracts me among the 86, among the Supra, among the R35, or even the new
The current cars,
Yeah,
that's
that's the only
available in
one.
the marketplace.
I think when they make a car that's quirky and not fitting a particular genre or a market or something that's different, I think if it annoys people, I think you got a winner. Lah. I think that look here definitely has got a bit of annoyance there. You know, like, will you like this? And the fact that thinking about it, I think there's something unique in the car. Definitely. Hiroshi says, yes, agree with Eugene. And then Austin has got a comment here. What do you think about the upcoming rotary engine sport car? It's supposed to be a rotary hybrid, isn't it? I think they're talking about a hybrid and rotary in Mazda. Eugene? Eugene? I think we lost Eugene there.
Yep, we lost him there.
Yeah.
It will be back. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Mazda is still pushing forward with their rotary engine technology.
I think they are still thinking going back to their roots, lah. You know.
So from what I read so far, Mazda are using the rotary engine as a mileage extender. So they got the rotary engine in a lot of cars just to extend the mileage. If you have a hybrid, so this will be the petrol engine.
I see.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So that's what they're using with rotary.
so is it to produce the power for the electric engine?
No, it's a mileage extender. In case you ran out of juice, you have an engine for you at the back. Small, because rotary are small, so for packaging, it's actually very good.
My friend and I had this when I had a RX-8, we had this discussion. Like, I always believe the rotary engines are the future, because think about this, there are so less parts in a rotary engine, and if you think about the rotary engine as something disposable, how nice would it be? Like if you could just use the engine up to the point it's like condemned, and then basically put some levers here and there, and it comes out like a heart, and just put in a new engine, small little engine, put inside, climb back inside. Okay, good to go, man. You know, so it's like instead of saying it's like you don't have to go and service it or change the seals, just put new engine in. So small, you know.
Yeah. You can checking at airport is that small.
Yeah. That's I think, and it's so light. I mean I don't know, the RX-8 that I had was just fantastic. Like it's so beautiful.
The way it revs, the engine.
Oh my god! I tell you,
rotary engine.
It is so addictive, like, you know. And I think that addiction is also. I mean, like your S1000, the VTEC. Obviously, people say it's very addictive. The sound it makes, you know. What do you think is the secret of VTEC? I think, when do you think actually? I mean, if you were to go back in time and look at a VTEC engine with a Honda, when do you think that VTEC technology actually kicked off for them? Like really, like, this is it. The power was so noticeable and something that you say like, hats off.
I think for Honda, their engines are their involvement in racing. Maybe a lot of people will not know, younger people will not know, but they were in F1 for a long time.
Yes.
So all that they learn from F1 is actually pushed on down to their passenger cars, and that's where it comes from.
Right.
Yeah. So most Honda engines have racing pedigree in them. So that's how it is, lah. Race ready engines from the factory.
Well,
and reliable.
What you get, like. But I guess a lot of the, it's only for, I guess, the true Type R you see that VTEC kick in. I guess the other VTECs, the other so-called VTECs, the base model VTECs that you see in the market, it's there, but it's no way a turbo. But there's something addictive about that when you hit that you hit that RPM and like, oh, I get the power, you know. I don't know, something very unique about a VTEC engine, like.
Yeah,
it's when
like,
you hit that high cam.
It's in one. You know, two different characters in one engine.
Correct.
You're motoring around slowly, you could be screaming around the street. So.
Sean Ko says, family estimate 3.5. Sometime pop-up check engine randomly. Simple shut engine and we'll fix it. See, no need mechanic. Just need to off and on.
It's like if you have trouble with your PC, just restart it.
Reboot.
Yeah.
Mazda has done it with MX-5, small under a ton and meets safety requirement.
Yes.
Yep. Miata is always the answer.
That is very impressive for a modern car. Any Miatas are 1 ton. It's crazy.
Yeah, correct. It's lightweight and fast and fun.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so we're going to go to a commercial break now. We'll come back. So guys, if you've got any other questions, please chime in and then we'll carry this on.
陽介、乗ってみるか。おい待てよ、陽介。聞いてねえのかよ。なんだよじゃねえよ。出てけ。
ただいま。
おかえり。いらっしゃい。
なお。
はじめまして。はじめまして。さお父さんいつものところよ。
乗ってみる？
いい車だな。
ありがとう。
あなたと車、どんな物語がありますか
When I switched to pro mileage, in my case, I got 46-47% of savings for that car.
Pro mileage was the only one that gave me 5,000 extra value to cover, yet still cheaper, a lot less. A lot
Turn
less.
up!
Welcome back, guys. Welcome, Eu Jin. Very emotional. What was your emotional family growing up car?
For me,
Like a car your dad had or your uncle had. Like you see the car, like, this is a really emotional car, you know?
well, there aren't particular cars in my family that when we were growing up. But I guess the one that triggered me a lot more than the rest would be the E34 BMW i-Series. Reason being is because when I get my license, that's the car I get to drive interstate and a lot more than the rest. It is underpowered, a 520 to the point that pedal to the metal is still crawling.
Safe.
Until
Very safe.
One day the engine condemned and put in the 528 engine in, yet it's still slow. But that's I guess the car brings a lot of memories because I got my first speeding ticket in that car. 2 weeks after I get my license, my speeding ticket is in that car, traveling from Ipoh to Thailand. It's a fun car. It's technologically advanced at that time. It has inboard computer, CD changer, multi CD changer. It's quite cool back then. And it's built like a tank. It's solid like hell.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just different when you close the door of E34 and the current cars right now. It's just solid. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know E34 had a changer. Huh?
Sorry. Yeah, it does.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the way the dashboard angle towards you as well.
Yes. Correct.
You know the angle of the dashboard.
Yes. It's driver focused.
Yeah.
I always love.
My family is a UK import, so maybe it's a UK option. So I'm not sure. Yeah.
I always loved how cars back then had a character. Like you see a car from far, oh, that's a Toyota. Oh, that's a BM. Or that's a. You can see the car from the shape, from the look. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
Today, if you take out the badge from a car, you know what? Day by day, I think it's very hard to tell.
I debash all my cars.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. I debash all my cars.
Yes. Okay, Eugene, just wanted to check with you. Since you started with a German car, right?
No, it's not.
Where did
my car? It's a family car. Yeah.
Yeah, but you started to drive a German car, But then you became, a JDM person. How did that develop, actually?
Well, before that German cars in my family are still Japanese. We have a Honda Accord in the car in the family, the old Honda Accord, and the Proton Saga, which is the first gen Proton Saga that Mahathir launched.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Japanese. Then it just so happens that we have a BMW at that period of time where I got my license, and that's the car I learned to drive in.
Yeah.
But all the while from young, I've always been a Japanese fan. I've never really looked into having a poster of a Countach or F40 on my bedroom wall. Whatever pictures I collect from magazines are cutouts of mainly skylines. So that's what I have. I decorate the file that I go to school with pictures of skylines, not a Continental car. Yeah.
So which was the first Japanese car you actually bought then? On your own.
First Japanese car that I buy on my own will be the R34.
Yes.
Will be the R34. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing, first car.
When was that? You still have the car?
No, I sold it a couple of years ago. That was bought in 2006.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
So I always wanted one, and at that time, the R34 that I had, the price is the same as R33 GTR. So it's either I get an older 33 GTR or a newer 34 GTT. So I opted for a newer car, and I kept that for 10 years before I sold it off.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
We got a question here. What do you think about the 2020 Acura Integra?
All I know the pictures looks awesome, but I have to reserve my comment until I know where is it made in. Is it going to be like the rest of the Type R, which is made in Europe, and we brand and they brand it as a Type R?
Yeah.
To a lot of purists, to a lot of enthusiasts, it isn't a Type R. That's what happens to the newer Civics. To the purists, the last Civic Type R is an FD2R. That's about it.
Yeah.
And that's the car that retains value.
Yeah.
That's
a good point you make, because what is JDM? Because JDM is supposed to be Japanese domestic market. I think at one point in time, JDM through JDM cars always had higher output power versus the cars that were sold anywhere else in the world. So people were trying to secretly import from Japan to the countries. But I guess now we loosely call all Japanese cars as JDM, which is not true, And I guess, do you think all the Type R should be made only in Japan?
Not only made in Japan, designed
in Japan. Yep. I agree.
The current, well, not the current ones, the ones after the FD2R aren't developed in Japan.
Right.
You look at the value of those cars versus the FD2R, it is worlds apart.
Yeah. I also agree that like now Porsche, for example, having a not a it's an assembly plant, only assembling, only putting together in Malaysia and Kedah. It will never be Porsche. It will never be Stuttgart. There's something about being made in the country with pride, and I think they should. I wish that the Japan companies come to say, okay, you know what, we're going to put a JDM badge And JDM means, we all agree JDM means, designed and made in Japan, and it will be put for the like an R-type model of the car. So if they did that, I think it'll be fantastic. It'll be a great marketing campaign, isn't it?
Yeah. But with all this hype around JDM cars right now, it's actually quite sad because those who want to get the game right now, they actually can't afford it. It's just price out of their range. It's just getting too expensive for the average wage earner right now.
Correct.
Yeah. Like for example, you can pick up a because I'm looking at the background. There's a yellow RX-7. RX-7 FD3 RX-7 used to be like 70,000 last time.
Yes.
Now people are like 280,000. It's just madness.
Yes. And they got a comment here, from Kelvin Lop. He was, as you can see here, he was saying that the increase in price, actually hinders JDM owners like us who want to keep the car. The cost for parts repairs is very expensive. What he's saying now, the aftermarket price. You only realize the profit if you sell it. But then if you sell it, you're not keeping the car.
You sell it, what can you buy?
Yeah, correct.
What's next after that?
Correct.
Yeah, it's also if you will spend like $500,000 on a 34 GTR, the insured value is not $500,000. Are you going to drive it the road a lot?
It's third party, isn't it?
No, you can get comprehensive, but then the value is so low. So I find that a lot of current new owners that spend 400,000, 500,000 on the 34 GTR don't drive that car much because it's just too risky, too valuable.
Yep.
Unlike the earlier owners, where when I own it, we will wreck the car because it's meant to be driven.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. Like I'm against people who buy cars and don't drive it. You have to wreck it, and that's why to me personally, buying cars, like I can afford to buy a 500K car, and Bobby said, "Thana, buy the new whatever." But to me, it's like if I buy a car, I must drive the car to a point that I'm not really so emotionally involved with it. Like I can drive it, enjoy it. I'm done. I can sell and go off. I must be able to drive it with no disturbance. Yeah. So I think you're right. I mean, people who I know, like back then, people who drive JDM cars, like, oh my God, the mods, the bodywork. I mean, today they said, oh, you cannot take out this bodywork. This is original body part. You cannot put a hole here. But when I was growing up, Japanese cars were being drilled and cut left, right, center. It was crazy. It was crazy. Madness, I'm not sure if you remember, there was an NSX. I mean, if you from this era in Bangsa, I think it was like a chrome brown NSX in Bangsa, and the guy did like body work and glow lights and pop-up doors and all that stuff. So but today they're like, oh no, NSX, keep it stock. Don't touch it.
Yep. It's the same with the rest of the with the popular JDM cars right now. Everybody wants to convert back to original. No longer.
And it's which one is sad because I think the Japanese cars a lot about all the true JDM cars. A lot of it is about the aftermarket scene. That is what makes it so fantastic, isn't it? All that different manufacturers of aftermarket products you take and put inside from spoon whatever and make it your own. That was so amazing. But today, it's the reverse.
Now the manufacturers are going to the scene. They are reproducing parts for their old cars and jacking up the price like nobody's business.
Yes.
And that gives a good interlude to what Eu Jin does. Guys, if you want to check out Eu Jin, you can go and check out at JDM Tuning. Yeah, I'll also put a link here. JDM Auto Link. You can go and check this out, JDM Auto Link. And you can check out Eu Jin's company. And what he does is he actually he sources and curates this kind of parts because these are parts you cannot find across the world. And I remember you need to tell me a funny story because guys will order from you from the States, from Europe, and they will think you are in Japan because you get Japan parts which Japan didn't know about, and you go and source all over the world and provide. It's a part of Malaysia, I guess, that you are in Malaysia and getting all these parts here. Look at that dream. Wow.
Yeah.
This pair of wheels are 15,000.
See?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys don't complain about your new BBS, Yeah.
Carpets,
Yeah, and also, you can source parts and customers can order from you, right?
Correct. But I mainly focus on rare, hard to find parts for 90s era Japanese sports cars. Also original parts, because a lot of cars they are here are not supported by the local part shop. So I bring in original parts from various manufacturers, be it Nissan, Mazda, Subaru, Mitsubishi. So I get that in also. And also I do some supercars because some of my friends they upgraded or they have additional cars. So I bring in parts for those as well. And a lot of these guys wants to be different, so they don't go for the parts from US or Europe. They want Japanese parts in their supercar, which is quite cool actually. Japanese exhaust in a Ferrari, Japanese exhaust in a Lamborghini. It's actually quite cool. Yeah. Even
the aftermarket scene is actually very big in Japan,
Yeah.
So and then let's just get some more comments over here. JDM cars rock. Germans apparently. I don't know about that lah, bro.
Daniel.
Don't lah.
Daniel love. Yeah, Mr. DSF just love cars lah.
Mr. Daniel loves all cars.
Yes.
He loves all cars.
All the tribal cars lah. He loves them.
Correct. Guys, this is Daniel Chairman Fernandez. Go and check him out on dsf.my. Fantastic site, fantastic information, great write-up. I think I always enjoy listening to Mr. Daniel Sherman speak and also write. His writings are fantastic. Let's go on the comments over here. We've got Kazu Toshi Mizuno fan. Yes, I want the new Z2. Has a generic Japanese look and specs tuner will die for. The VR30 DDTT is capable and seems very reliable. Yeah. How big is the tuning scene here, Eugene? From what you can see, I mean, I know in Japan you hear all this mad mods. They put different engines and tuning. How big is the scene here for Japanese cars?
I think the scene is there. It is not as big as in the N90s, where the workshops are everywhere, but it is still very much alive. Just that the offerings from the shops are smaller right now and more. It's not as saturated as last time, where everybody is into it. The good shops remains now, and it is very, very, very much alive. People are still playing with the cars. They might not be going for 700-800 horses like last time, but they are still maintaining the cars like how it should be maintained. They're still playing with the cars. They are still ordering parts for it. They are still restoring their cars. It's very, very much alive.
And my take is horsepower isn't everything. I think there's more to it than just horsepower. It's just the handling, the feel, and there's more to it.
Horsepower was ended in Malaysia.
And I think after a certain amount of after 400, like anything more than 400, and it's a light car, you're like, what for? You should be focusing on other stuff. Suspension mods make so much more difference than tuning. Making the car more powerful.
Yes.
We're not Americans, where all they do is just go straight, drag. We're not Americans. We got fantastic roads in Malaysia. Ivan Kong says, "What do you think about the RX-7 FD FNE and the S1000 selling price of 288? Do you think people will pay that price?"
Okay. Personally, I know the highest transacted S2000 in Malaysia is 280,000.
Wow.
So yes, there are people who's willing to pay. As for the FD3S, that is one in the market. A friend of mine is selling his. His asking price is 320,000, but it is fully done up. There's nothing else for you to do anymore. It's fully modded. He will offer for 280 and he doesn't want to let go. So yes, there is a market for it, provided you find the right buyer for your car.
Mr. Kong thinking of a car.
Mr. Ivan Kong already banking his money already. He's like sitting on the gold mine. Every day tweet about S1000, bring the price up.
No, I think
share market, he watch S1000 pricing. Yes, go up.
No, I think he wants to add, his JDM cars into his garage. He's looking at the car. I think.
Stop. Okay.
So what I mentioned are the highest that I've seen, but there are also a lot transacted much lower. 180,000 SO1000, 180,000 FDRS, FD3 RS. There are, it's just depends on what kind of car you want to buy.
I guess what kind of market, who's the target audience? Some of them like stock cars, some of them like Thana, because modding cars isn't as easy as you go and buy and put together. Finding the balance, what part work together with each other, and it's a magic. It's like a black magic. It's not easy. So these guys have invested money. They buy one part and put and change it. They went to all the changes to come to the best option. Daniel says, F&E is an awesome car. Buy, worth it. Prices in Australia and England are even higher. True, it's a market that's actually going up so much now. So Joseph Chan has a question here. Thinking of a weekend car, what do you think about the MV2R and the STI S2 or 3 or 4?
Well, they're actually very different cars. You're talking about front-wheel drive, non-turbo versus four-wheel drive turbo car. So ultimately, it depends on what you want. But personally, if you ask me, I will get the FD2R without even thinking.
It's a local.
FD2R, the prices now are hovering at about 140. That's early this year or last year. It goes for about 120. Now it's 140 already, and I foresee that it will continue to go up higher because it is really the last Civic Type R that Honda has ever produced. The last NA Civic Type R, real JDM Civic Type R Honda has ever produced, and it's actually a way better car than its counterpart Integra Type R, the DC5. You can see the DC5 value is not going anywhere much because it's actually worse off than the FD2R in terms of driving and lap times. Yes.
Correct, guys. They say what do you think about the DC5? You're right. Prices are crazy. But on that note, if you were to say, people are always thinking about JDM cars now as investment.
Yes.
There's this whole thing, and they're trying to invest and trying to predict what car to buy. What do you think are still affordable? When I say affordable, you're talking about that 70, 80K price range. Still affordable, something you can buy cash, but has got future upswing. I mean, is there cars that you think that are in that category?
I think for 780K, I don't see any that will actually risk any higher. If it's in that range right now, it has reached its plateau. That's the price it will be. It will not go much.
What do you think about the all the smaller cars which are not sporty, like the Sarah, the Toyota Sarah, the MR2s, and all the smaller cars? Do you think that will actually go up in value because they're still cheap now?
Definitely no lah. But if you say SW20 MR2 and ZZW30 MRS, the value is already stagnant. It has
gone up.
You can check back for not now, but for the last few years until now, the price is just not too high or not too low from what it is now.
It's still cheap.
But if you want
just running around that bracket.
Just around the bracket. If you want to buy something now, which would have the potential, in my opinion, it might not be. My opinion, to buy a car now and make some money a few years further down the road would be, like I mentioned earlier just now, FD2R. Another car which I see has not really picked up as fast as the rest would be the Lancer Evolutions. Yes, they are still quite okay. I'm talking about the older one. The last chassis that Mitsubishi actually used it for Group A rallying, which is of course the 3 is out of the question. I said 4, 5, 6 era, the newer rally cars. 7 onwards is no longer a rally car because Mitsubishi no longer have a Evo 7 Group A car. Evo 7 onwards is a Lancer WRC. It's on WRC regulation. Group A regulation for rallying on Mitsubishi car is only until the 6. So in my opinion, 4, 5, 6 will gain traction, not as high as Supra or Skylines, but it will gain traction soon. Also because all of these cars now are still below 25 years. It's not legal to be imported to the US yet. I think an Evo 4 is 96, So it's legal this year in the US. Legal this year in the US. 4 and 6 is not. 5 and 6 is not yet. And those cars, I think it's a worthwhile investment right now lah. Even so, if you buy one right now, you sell it few years down the road, you will not lose money. If you don't make money, also you won't lose money. You
But so the Evo 4 and 5 weren't in the US back then.
The US only got 3 generations of evolutions. They only got 8, 9, and 10. Below that, they never get any of those.
So the guys out there, if you want to sorry, did you say? Go ahead.
So it is like an unattainable Mitsubishi Lancer evolution in the States because they only get 8, 9.
They had the Lancer, but not the Evo, right?
They have the Evo 8 onwards.
Okay. I mean,
Evo 8 onwards.
So if you for guys who don't know why, that is because in US the law is if the car were not imported brand new back then, you can't bring the car in, but after a certain time period, 5 years, then you can actually bring in as another different import category, thanks to Bill Gates and his Porsche, you know. So 4 and 5, okay.
4, 5, and 6.
Check it out.
Yeah.
I had the luxury of driving the 9, and I was blown away how capable that is. You know, it's just a fantastic car. You know? Evo 4, great car, but theft rate too high in Malaysia. Yes.
And it's so hard to find one actually in Malaysia because a lot of the cars that you see, they actually converted from the CK Lancer. So so they are not original evolutions. So original evolutions not that many.
Yes. And I think also during that period, the 4, 5, and 6, you know, a lot of the cars were heavily modified also.
You know, the 4, 5, 6, there are also technology transfer. Because for Mitsubishi to use any technology in their rally car, they have to homologate it. And this technology goes into the road-going car. So if the rally car needs 4-wheel drive, then the road-going car needs 4-wheel drive. If the rally car needs AYC, it has to have AYC in the road-going cars. So the technology transfer is there from their race cars to their production cars. Where else from 7 onwards, they don't have a rally car based on that. They have WRC spec, so they don't need to be homologated. So you don't get homologated Evo 7, 8, 9, and 10.
So these were the times when the Japanese car had great pedigree, you know, rallying, racing. You know, it's just fabulous.
Question for you, Mike, from Zafri. Do you think older legendary JDM engine like the 2JZ and the K220, 20A, obviously, are better for tuning than the newer engines?
I think it's very different, you know, because with the newer engines, you know, we are just tweaking with the ECUs, you know, to take the restrictions out of them. Whereas with the older engines, you know, the Japanese, especially if you talk about the K20, I think, you know, Honda took it to a very high level already, and to get that little bit more out of it, it's not as simple, Eugene. You know, I'm not very good with the K20 and all that, you know, but, you know, getting good, reliable power, you know, with a higher rev limit from those engines are not as easy, you know, because I think the FD2R, all the engines were actually handmade. Correct me if I'm wrong. Eugene?
They are just different breed of highly strong engines. It's also very versatile. You find it in aero atoms even, you know, K20.
Correct.
People shove it into Lotus series.
Yes.
Funny, Austin says Alphard is more JDM than FK.
I cannot deny.
Let's going on the JDM analogy. Conrad said JDM for rich men. I think so, cash money.
Now it is. It is. Definitely.
How about this? JDM is just demand market price.
CYT got a lot of JDM cars.
Kevin Look says yes, it must be only available in Japan only. Isn't JDM by definition correct? JDM is just the Japan domestic market.
By strict definition, that is true. But actually, some cars they are only for Japan market only are also exported. Like 32 GTR, I think 100 units went to Australia officially, and 34 GTR also officially a number of units went to the UK. sold officially by Nissan UK. Just like every 2 hours officially, it was sold by Honda Malaysia. It came here too. So I guess a little bit loose in translation.
If you want to tokong tile, Brian says S2K by December 21, 368. So you want to play market, buy today at S1000. By end of the year, you'll make 70K already. I never say, Brian say,
Yeah.
don't only do it
to the stock market.
yeah, man.
Without batting an eye at that price.
Actually, has there been a case in history that cars was being sold at a very high price and suddenly it dropped tremendously in the whole JDM market, R34, R32s, all this Supras? Has there been a point in time it just went up and it just dropped heavily in terms of investments?
If you talk about the popular 90s era JDM cars, actually, none came to mind except those that are, not so popular with the collector crowd lah. So I mean, those prices are stagnant already by now, so it's not going to be different. But if you talk about the popular ones, no lah, they don't go up high to a point and then it just drop. It just keep rising lah. Yeah, it's like 34 GTR. When at the point when it was 120,000, it was very hard to sell because it was all cash. Nobody wants to buy 120,000. And now today, you have people paying 450,000, 500,000 cash for it. Just altogether.
Yes.
Makes me think about my cash purchase. Like, should I not? because you're right. Some cars will not go down because I think there are probably lesser RX-7s on the road now because of crash cars, cars that didn't make it, burned down, whatever. So day by day, it's getting less and lesser, not going up.
Yeah. But sometimes, even though a car is manufactured in large numbers, like in our wallpaper in the background, the AE86, there are shitloads of them are made. The shitloads of them manufactured, sold all over the world, not just in Japan. But the price is just madness. You have nowadays people selling in Malaysia for 200,000, a restored unit for 200,000.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of money for a 1.6 liter Corolla. As much as I love the car, it's hard for me to justify to take the amount of money to buy that.
Yeah, it's like, why,
Yes.
You're right, it is crazy. It's,
Yes.
they always say don't meet your heroes, and I'm gonna get burned now. Like I remember sitting inside the Supra Mark IV, and I was like, oh my god, the interior wasn't like what I anticipated, what I imagined, because of all this hype around it. But it's more than the interior, I guess. It's the whole package, So
Yeah. That's your $200,000 car, right?
Yeah. As a unit now being offered for sale, a fully restored unit, granted it's fully restored, but 200,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Austin Up asked, Mark X considered underrated? I watched hot version which Mark X using cars like WRX STR. I've seen few Mark X in Malaysia, but yeah, they are pretty low in Malaysia now, as Daniel mentions. There are some cars in Malaysia which are very awkward cars, odd cars, and they don't get attention. What do you think are like sleeper cars that you should look out for? Like Mark X, for example.
Personally, I like CL7 Honda Accord Euro R. Good value for getting, impressively spec. You get recaro bucket seat, you get 6-speed manual. I think it's perfect family car plus weekend car. Yeah.
How much are they going for nowadays?
I saw them going for about 80,000, which is good value.
Actually, good value then. Yeah. Just let Isaac try to find a picture of that car. Yeah.
Looks good, man.
Hey, looks good.
The front has got a
but this was it made in Europe or made in Japan?
Actually, I don't know where this is made in.
Huh? Yeah, but I always love this car. This car always attracted me. This Euro
I
R.
think it offers immense value for what you pay for.
Yeah. And manual 6-speed.
Yeah.
Talking about where it's made. I mean, Daniel also made a comment. A lot of cars with JDM hearts. On that fact, like my MGF comes with a case series engine. So Rover, at a point in time, they were tie up with Honda, so it was a derivative from there. So a lot of the MGS, for example, are using Honda engines. So technically, I drive a Honda. You know, it shows how good the engine is. You know, it's beyond that. And if you're lucky to have a Yamaha engine, oh my God, you are just over the moon, like, you know.
So Eugene got a question for you.
Yeah.
What is the most underrated car? JDM car. You think
most underrated JDM car?
But which you felt didn't get the attention it should.
I think the MRS, at least in Malaysia.
MRS, yeah.
MRS is a great car.
I have a soft spot for that car.
Yeah,
I keep on thinking, why? Because it's a soft top, drop the top car.
Yes.
And there is no attention that was given to that car at all. With the 1.8 engine in it, it's such a balanced car. And there has been no love for it.
I think mainly also because it received a lot of flack from the SW20 MR2 owners. From a turbo car, you come out with a QC liter 1.8 liter actuator car. It received a lot of flack. A lot of purists from the MR2 era are not too happy.
The MR2 guys are the one, But on that fact, I saw MR2 when I was I forgot which car I was buying. One car and I came across MR2. I was supposed to buying it, but the condition of it wasn't all that great. It's very hard to find an MR2 in good condition. The bodywork, the panel gaps, not easy. Some of them do it, but it's not easy car to find in good condition.
This is the SW20 .
Desmond says yes, MRS is fun. When Desmond Chong says a car is fun, guys, listen to Desmond Chong. He buys the same car many times. He knows what he's talking about.
Which is true, For me, it's either the Miata or the MRS. These are two very, very nice cars, JDM to have, lightweight. Both lightweight cars, and great handling.
And they're not that expensive now, isn't it? They're pricing wise.
I think about 80, right? This car, the MRS.
Have a look in Muda.
Quite a good.
Check Muda, see if there's anything.
Let's check out. Let's check out for that. And then Austin Yap says 60K for Alteza RS200 manual transmission. Fair enough. Wow. Alteza.
Yeah, good alternative to a 3 Series,
Actually,
Yes.
Actually, so the Japanese cars, I think, of the era had better build quality interior wise, compared to the competing BMW. BMW fall apart,
Yes, at least the plastics don't become keropok lah.
Oh my god! It's just madness,
Like E36
Oh, there are MRS. Oh my god! When a car gets to how much is that? Zoom in bit, 70K, 80K.
Let me plug on my battery to my phone. Give me 1 minute.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, can you go up, sort lowest to highest? Ian?
Yeah, let's sort that, Isaac.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Isaac is working on it.
You gotta go here. This is a clear indication. Isaac, not enough time on Muda. If you go down, Isaac is there.
Don't don't get used to using MRS.
For
it is too high.
Yeah, so for 65K, that's actually a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal.
Clicking into one of those, Isaac.
Yeah,
that one. Oh, manuals are more. Wow, 65,800. But these ones, there were some with different engine configurations, right?
MRS. I think 1 ZZ and 2 ZZ.
Yes. Correct. Yeah. 2ZZ is the one to have lah, with the high
Correct.
revving engine. Yes.
Mike Leong says Niyama. He said MRS last time 25k to 35k. Yeah, true. I remember the
True.
point. It was cheap. And that's what I'm saying. I think Eugene. I think the MRS, MR2, the Celicas, even the Sarah, those cars, although they will never be like classic cult status, but in Malaysia at least, because they can't afford that 200k or 300k price tag for cash, these cars I think actually are the future. You know, if you want to get something cheap to buy, you can get for them. You know, I mean, you can't go wrong.
If you want to get into the JDM crowd, these are great cars to start off with.
Yep, exactly. You know,
And reliable.
Fun fact from Austin, I didn't know about this. Apparently, MRS 80 is automatic transmission instead of a motor. I didn't know about this. Really?
I don't
Is
know.
it AMT?
It's automated. Wow, I didn't know. Mike Leong says I can afford an MR2 now. Then buy it. You know, think about this.
MRS.
You buy,
MRS.
yeah, instead of buying
Well, this Mike Leong have a GTO and an FD2R, so I don't think he cannot afford MRS.
Can, no problem. Easy. You know. We got our Kazutoshi Mizuno fan, only offered in one engine, the 1ZZ FE or the FED for the market. 1ZZ FED has lighter pistons and bigger throttle bodies. Wow, you guys are really JDM experts.
Wow.
I must come and meet you all. and then the comments are going wild. Again, he replies, you know, the SMT is without auto feature, you know. Wow. You know. Okay, Austin Yap says, which car can I drive to JDM meet? Fiat 124, A90 Supra.
There can be an A90 Supra because it bears a Toyota badge. It cannot be going in a Fiat, although it's an MX-5.
But the Supra is one thing. It's quite interesting because I think that the looks of it it's very Japanese, although it's based on a Z4 and all that. And I think that the looks of it, the heart and soul, they made a better car than what BMW made. So I still can forgive lah. I still would. I don't mind buying
for you, Eugene. You think there's enough Toyota DNA
soul?
In that BMW chassis.
It's only the dress that he's wearing and the emblem on the back.
True.
I think there's a video on YouTube where somebody disassembled the whole car and they're counting how many Toyota.
A lot. You know to go very far. I drove the car. As you get in the car, you open the hood. BMW. Everything is BMW. It's they're not hiding anything from it.
But what manufacturers are going to now because I guess it's just cost savings You know, you share a platform. You have BMW and Toyota with the Supra and the Z4, and then you have Toyota, Subaru, and Scion with the FRS 86 BRZ. Yes. It's just platform sharing, which doesn't bond well with the true purist crowd But
I guess what is a true a country origin car? I mean, today we see, let's say, a BMW. It's not no longer just German. Talk about a Toyota. It's not really just Japan. It's made across the world. If you talk about Audi, it's got parts from Japan. You know, Denso makes most of the compressors across for all the cars. So I don't know. It's a very thin line now. You know, it's hard to say what cars from which country. You know,
Volvo is owned by a China company.
Exactly. Yes. You know?
So I think what matters is the true original DNA of the brand. You know, how they carry it even though Volvo is owned by the Chinese people now, but it is still essentially a Swedish car because
the heart and soul is still there.
Yeah, and it's still run by Swedish people. It's still run over there. It's not based on operation in China.
And that's why I like, of all the Japanese cars now, I like Toyota and where they're heading. They're really going like racing pedigree. They're giving up with the Yaris GR is fantastic. You know, all their cars are now to drive is exciting. At one point, I would totally despise Toyota because it was so boring. It's like, give me any car except Toyota because it's so boring to drive. It's like bland. But now the cars are so fantastic. The Altis, you know, it's nice. It's just nice to drive. You know, So yeah.
Yeah, at least they have come back, because I remember even a Corolla in the 80s, and the early 90s, they were fun to drive. Proper cars.
I test drove the GR Yaris last week.
Wow.
It's actually quite amazing car for
It is.
For 1.6 liter 3-cylinder engine car.
Yes.
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 But it doesn't. Of course, it doesn't feel like an old 90s car, so it feels it feels too modern for me. Too many gadgets to play with, and a big monitor display in the middle. It's just not for me. But what kind of irks me about the GI Yaris is that it's the promise of the manufacturer. They say it's for rallying, but they actually never went rallying. Huge marketing campaign on being 25,000 units built only, but they're going to build more. And 25,000 units is a lot of cars.
A lot.
It's not a small number. It's a lot of cars. So it's not that limited. But I mean, that's all that we have right now with a true Toyota.
Yeah.
If you were to, I guess there are two ways to enter the Japanese performance car market. One is obviously by really cool cars, like what you said before, and one is like take cheaper cars and modify them. So if I were to give you a budget, and let's say the budget was, let's say again below 100k, make it 70k, 70k is the budget to buy a Japanese car, and to drop in engine that's for performance and make it 2K ready, 2K compliant, what model would you be doing?
I will pick the MRS.
MRS, huh?
I will pick the MRS, yeah.
But
I think next week, Muda,
but the budget nothing left for boarding line. There's a stock engine, I guess.
I mean, maybe at this age now you don't need power, you don't need 300 horsepower, 250. You don't need the MRS is light enough. It's agile. It's low maintenance. Why not? And you get it from the top.
I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks. I mean, the only thing you can fault the MRS is that it looks a lot like a Boxster, which is not it's not a bad thing to say, isn't it? I mean, the worst thing to talk about the car is the fact it looks like a Porsche. So I think it's okay. What
there's body kits there in Thailand that converts the MRS to look like a Porsche.
Are you serious?
Yes, there is. I've seen it before. Yes. I think for me, the MRS is only the front end. They could have made it a bit nicer, But other than that, I find it very, very nice, the proportions.
Yeah.
Small car as well. Yeah.
Correct.
Can I afford?
465. Mike Leong is telling you.
A6 hybrid, cost to maintain, expensive.
Because Con showed this. Con commented, Audi A6 hybrid is rarer than the GR Yaris.
True.
Less than 6,000 made, I think worldwide.
No, it's 4,000.
4,000 made,
Yeah, only 4,000 cars made in the world.
4,000.
I thought Malaysia got 3. Yeah, I thought 3,000 came to Malaysia or 4,000 came to Malaysia.
Sorry, I think 4,000 in Malaysia, is it? Yeah, 4,000 in Malaysia,
Yeah, and they only made 5,000 cars. I think.
But the funny thing was, the same platform is in the Q5 hybrid, and that's a lot in what do you call this in Canada, and I think they also came with the same platform in a Cayenne, the same platform. So there are a few cars the same platform, but the A6 was the one that's not so common, Yeah. So again, guys, we had so much fun talking about JDM cars. We're going to end the show soon, and talking about the affordable cars to mod. Which engine do you think are going to go up in price very soon? So I know like certain engines are now harder to find, and people are trying to import from overseas because they can't get in Malaysia. Are we now hoarding engines, or are we now come to the point where we're exporting engines out of Malaysia back to some other parts of the world?
The engines from those popular 90s era cars are expensive now.
Expensive.
Yeah, you can't say I'll pick this one over another one. Two JCs are expensive. RB engines are expensive. Now I just shipped in last week a RB26 with poor compression. Poor compression at 20,000 ringgit. Yeah. So it's just madness. And I used to buy engine kosong RB26 for 2,008 ringgit. Now I buy 20,000 with full compression.
So if you got a Zafiro that has the RB26 inside,
Exactly, my point exactly.
A lousy body, you just buy the car for the body. The engine.
Yeah.
I've seen few of those. Cars like I think BMW, Zafiros, they had these engines in there. And
buying a old BMW with a 2JZ in it. If you have a 2JZ with a 6-speed manual transmission, Getrag transmission in there, that transmission is worth more than the car.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw one. I'm trying to find it. I saw one Rexton for sale. We had a 1JZ engine, and it was selling for 6,000 ringgit. A Rexton, So you guys can go look it out. So running car, everything perfect. 1JZ engine there.
So anything with RB20, RB26.
RB26, crazy in value.
I see a 2JZ manual complete selling for just. I share my screen over here. There's one for sale. 2JZ engine manual complete 21K.
And that's excluding the transmission. If it's a 6-speed Getrag, you add another 30,000 onto the price.
Oh, you're right. This is just engine.
Yeah. It's not
Buy.
Correct. There is it. So gearbox is from not the Getrag
it's probably automatic.
Automatic.
Yeah, that's why it's that price. If manual Getrag, then no way, man.
So I guess the moral of the story is if you want cheap, buy Continental cars. If you've got money, flex with JDM cars.
So you think Continental cars are expensive? Think again.
Continental cars are expensive to maintain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Maintenance wise, yes, definitely.
But then also, Eugene, I noticed a lot of 90s and 80s Japanese cars also very difficult to find, a lot of the parts.
A lot of things are discontinued. That's the reason.
Yeah. Yes.
Because
anyway,
I have a couple of friends now restoring their cars from GC8s to R34s, S2000. I mean, some things are already discontinued. You can't get it anymore. S15s also. I travel finding some parts. So you don't make it anymore. Even if I want to find a used one, also difficult.
Yeah.
So when you do find one, then the asking price is high and you got no choice, you got to pay for it.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm trying to find my Sanyong Rexton. I cannot find it anymore. Must be you sold. Gone, man. Deal, man. You're gonna open my eyes up now and look for all the guys who have spent money and modified to put into it. Or I saw one. It was one year. So this is interesting. You had an E34 before, isn't it? Correct. So this is the E34 with a 1JZ and manual for 31K. Imagine that.
The manual is probably a 5-speed manual, not a 6-speed.
Yeah. And it's crazy price asking for 31K for a E34. So probably the engine costs more than the car.
My family E34, when we sold it, we got 15,000 ringgit. And this is many years ago. This is there
was an E34 for sale, manual E34 was 5,800 ringgit. I told Con, shall we go half buy it? Con said, Thana, no more project cars for you.
Yeah, too many.
Too many.
Yes.
Uncompleted project cars.
Okay, so Thana, coming back to your Boxster again, how is it going?
Same thing. I mean, the car is done. The Wyman got COVID. So the problem with the car is that the car, when you go, because from an automatic, when you go to a manual, when you go reverse right, there's a switch which indicates to on the reverse light. So the reverse light doesn't work because was wired up, and that's the only thing pending on the car. And the guy with COVID, I think, is coming back to fix finish up, and yeah. Unless I said I don't mind reverse light, I can drive with that reverse light and it's ready. So there you go. Yeah, and I was I was very close to changing the engine out on the Porsche Boxster. I was looking at JDM options, audio options. So engine nowadays from that era, I think are very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Con says anybody of it JDM must have Eugene phone number on speed dial. Yes. You would not believe how difficult is it to find parts from pre-2000, because a lot of them have been wrecked, accident, and I like, for example, for my car, I had to import the pedal the pedal box from Romania, the
transmission, and then the
transmission from UK,
linkage, the linkage,
the gear linkage from Romania also, and then
it's like a big jigsaw puzzle.
Oh my god! And the best part is, you pray that the guy doesn't cheat you. You pray, you pay the money on PayPal, it doesn't cheat you. You pray it arrives correct condition. You pray it's not damaged. You pray a lot. And that's why people like Eu Jin is fantastic, because why? They have contacts, they've got warranty, and they know, like, and they give you the part, they'll test you, like, this is the condition, and you get condition for what it is, like, no? So if you're doing JDM cars, even other cars for the matter, hard to find by, contact Eu Jin at JDM Auto Link. You'll be surprised, guys. It's not easy, it's not fun to find parts for old cars. You need people like these kind of private investigators to look at parts for you. So go ahead and check him out. We're coming to the end of the show now. Eu Jin, any last words?
Yep.
Oh, if you want to get into the game, get into the game now. Buy
the game now.
Buy your JDM now.
True, bro.
Before it goes even more crazy. It is as crazy as it is now, but
it's like property market. Like, if ever in your life you ever had an idea of having a nice car, buy something today. To me it's like buying this kind of older cash buy JDM cars. It's like property market. The more you wait, the more difficult it is. But at least you buy now, it'll appreciate a bit. You can sell, you can flip, and keep going on. If you don't get it now, you are stuck, and no way in hell can you afford to pay 500k cash to buy a car.
I've heard many stories of people telling me they wanted this car and they keep on saving for it. When they get to that amount, the car different price already. Start all over again. It just never ends. I have a friend that wanted to buy a 34 GTR. At that time, the market is 200,000. He has the cash, but he can't find the car that he wants. And until today, he's still looking for it. Now it's 400,000, and he's still willing to pay for it. Not if you bought one, he's gonna buy two now.
Correct.
If you want it, squeeze your finances,
buy something.
Buy something. If you don't make money, also you won't lose money.
Correct. We had the same discussion this morning in the Evo Tourism WhatsApp group, cars as equity, because they are, you put money in there, they are there, provided you buy smart cars. Don't go and buy stupid decisions, and you'll be safe.
Don't buy a Sarah. Expect to make
Yes, you need to find a Porsche.
For you, Thana.
I could not. I even went to the Porsche lover. Porsche lover says, Thana, I give up. This car is too old, difficult to find. So Porsches are hard to come by. It's not easy, digital market, But thank God I've got a great mechanic, Porsche Auto in near Adam Masara. He's a genius, So you got to get the right mechanic, right parts to do it up. Okay. We'll take one more question. How much is the R34 V-Spec before we end the show?
Okay, the two latest transacted one that I know is a normal GTR. A normal GTR, it was sold for 450,000. And then there's a V-Spec with a lot of goodies in it. It's like all the rare parts are in it, which you can't buy anymore. That one was transacted for $750,000. And both of these cars are transacted this year. Just a couple of months ago. So it's as recent as that.
During COVID.
Yes, during COVID time, just a couple of months ago.
Okay, guys. Thanks so much. Please get in touch with us. You want to tune your cars, go and check out Mike Yap at DNA Tune Mai. You want to check out parts, whether it's JDM or non-JDM, supercars, for the fact, contact JDM Auto Link on their Facebook page, and we'll see you again next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.